Okay, so the purpose of this screen recording is to show the use of the TI Nspire, and what we're going to do, what I'm going to focus on is the list of topics on the right: data entry, one variable statistics, representations of one variable statistics. And so data entry applies to both one variable and two variable data, and then what we're going to do is I'll show you how to do one variable statistics calculations and the three different representations of one variable data: dot plots, histograms, and box plots. And then for the two variable data, our focus will be on scatter plots, regression, residual plots, and correlation coefficients. Okay, so what you want to do is from the home page on your Nspire, you want to create a new document. For me, I've already created that new document, so I'm just going to go into my current document. You won't have any data entered. What you would do to begin with is it would default you to a page that looked like this, and what you'd need to do to begin with is to start off by adding a page, and the page you'd be interested in adding would be a lists and spreadsheets. So that's what we want to do in order to be able to enter the data. And then what I'll do is I'm going to enter all three sets of data. I'm going to show you how to do that. In order to enter our one variable data and two variable data, we're just going to use different columns of the spreadsheet. And so for the one variable data, I'm going to enter the SAT scores. Of course, you need to have a list name, and so I would call that, let's say, SAT1. I'm naming it slightly differently because I've already got the data. And then at that point you would come down here and start entering the actual data values. Likewise, over here we would name this list quiz and enter the values, and name our third list test, and we would enter the values in the corresponding column. Now, in the interest of time, I've already done this, and so you can see here I have a list named SAT with the values that you see on the screen, likewise for quiz and for test. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm just going to get rid of these pages quickly because I don't need them, and so document, page layout, delete page. Okay, so now once you've gone ahead and you've entered these data values, we'll be in the same position, and what we're going to do now is start off by, so that takes care of data entry. We'll start off by focusing on our one variable statistics. So the first thing we'll do is a series of one variable statistics calculations. Actually, what we're going to do is a single calculation which will give us multiple data values. So I'll start off and I'm going to add a page again. This time what I'm going to do is add a calculator page, which is essentially a blank page, and then I'm going to select menu, and you'll have a statistics menu. Stat calculations is what I'm interested in, and for the beginning one I need one variable statistics. So what I need to do then is decide how many lists I want to do one variable statistics for. I'm only interested in the SAT list, and so only one list, and now I just need to select the list for which the calculator will do the calculation, and so for me that's the SAT list. Okay, and what you'll see is it's pretty much instant, and what the calculator has generated for you is X bar, which of course is the average. So we have an average SAT score for that data set of 651.1, and then if you scroll back down, you can see you had 9 entries, the minimum value for which was 350, the maximum value for which was 760, our median or Q2 score was 690, and then Q1 and Q3 615 and 730 respectively, and those values of course are used in finding the interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1. Okay, so that takes care of our second topic, which is one variable statistics, mean, median. A mode, of course, is just the most frequently occurring value that isn't found by the calculator, but also isn't a particularly important value. Okay, so now what we're going to focus on is the three different graphical representations of our one variable data, the dot plot, the histogram, and the box plot. So we're going to come back to the calculator, once again add a page, but this time in order to do graphs, what we want is number 5, the data and statistics page. Okay, so it starts off with what appears to be a fairly random scattering of points. What we'll do is come to the bottom where it says click to add a variable, and what we want is a dot plot of the SAT scores. So when we click on SAT, this is our dot plot. So you'll see the variable is named on the bottom axis, and each of the points is plotted along a number line, essentially showing how the points are scattered and whether any of them are repeating. The dot plot, of course, could be used to identify your mode if any value occurred more than the others. And so in this case, we could identify our mode. 700 and 760 are both the modes. Okay, and so just to make it look a little nicer, I'm going to go ahead and change the color. And I'll just make my fill color, and we'll make that green. Okay, so that's the dot plots, relatively simple to do, and so is the histogram. And all you have to do for the histogram is go into your menu, and you'll see the option is for plot type. So for one variable data, you can also plot a histogram. I'm going to click on that, and the calculator will use its default settings and algorithm and take those that set of data, that SAT data, and what it's going to do is it's going to group them, and you can see here that the interval width runs from 350 to 370, and so it's grouping the data in intervals of 20. And then on the y-axis, you're seeing the frequency, the number of values that occur in each of the groupings. Okay, remember when you're drawing a histogram on a quiz or a test, you must put in the boundary condition. On the calculator it's clear, but you must state if there's a boundary value which interval it's counted in. So in this case the value 670 does not fall into this group, but instead falls into the group above. Okay, and then just one other variation or one other important skill for the histogram, and that is we need to be able to modify the graph so that it fits what we want. So if we go to plot properties and histogram properties and select bin settings, this allows us to modify the interval width. And so let's say, because we have so few data points, that in fact I'm interested in grouping the SAT scores in boxes of 50, if you will, and the alignment simply tells the calculator where to start. So in this case, with a width of 50, your calculator will have the first interval 330 to 380, then 380 to 430, and so forth. And when I hit enter, you'll see it readjusts the histogram. When you modify any bin settings, either the alignment or the interval, what you also usually need to do is go to the window and do a zoom data, and that way you can be sure that the scale and what you're looking at is appropriate to the data graphed. And so now you can see our data is being grouped in larger intervals, 650 to 700, and there are 3 scores within that range. Okay, that's histograms. And then the last of the one variable plots that you need to know how to do is the box plot. The box plot provides the 5-number summary, minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Once again, directly from this screen, we can go to plot type and simply select box plot. This is known as a box and whisker plot. The 2 lines on the side are the whiskers, and the box is the box, which is why it's called the box and whisker plot. This point sitting out here is the outlier, and so if your calculator draws a dot or a point away from the whisker, then that means that that point is an outlier. It's more than 1.5 times the interquartile range below Q1 in this case, and so the value is 350. That is the minimum value and an outlier. The Q1 value is 615. The Q2 value, which is the median, is 690. Q3 is 730, and the maximum data value in this set is 760. 580 is not one of the 5 numbers in the 5-number summary. It is common to throw outliers out of a data set. If we took 350 out of the data set, then 580 would be the minimum, but in this case 350 is the minimum if we keep the outlier in the data set. Okay, so that takes care of dot plots, histograms, and box plots, and what we'll do now is turn our attention very quickly to scatter plots, regression, residual plots, and correlation coefficients for two variable data. In fact, actually, what I think what I'll do at this point is stop the recording, and we'll leave the recording as one variable data, and then in the second video I'll address scatter plot, linear regression, and correlation coefficients. Okay.